Hey, good morning. So this will be episode 2 of the social media profile using Expo. Today we'll be doing stuff like routers, scroll view, styling, refactoring, and all that stuff. Um, I guess what we might do is work on like the first page you get to when you open the app, which is going to be like a home feed, right? You open up Twitter, you open up to the home tab, and you just see the feed. Now we won't do like we won't do tabs, at least in this video. Um, I'm interested in how we achieve the tabs with router. I imagine that we have to build like a custom tab and then do the things from there. But I'm not 100% sure. That'd be fun to check out. So yeah, first let's go ahead and get Expo router installed. I tried this before and it was uh, not so easy. Let's see. Yeah, the first time I did it, it took me like 30 minutes. That's me. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, the first time I did it, it took me 30 minutes, and it was just because I was making changes while the I was making changes to like config files while the bundler, the Metro server thing was, I always call it a server. The server was running. And typically you want to not do that. So the second time it took me like 30 seconds. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So let me do a couple setup things here. Let me know if the music's too loud. I can't tell on my side. But okay, so we're here. Introduction to Expo router. So router is just a way to navigate. I have experience using React navigation. React navigation. React navigation is great. I do love it, but you can't use it with um, the actual router. React navigation router. Oh, Expo is what I want. Maybe you can. I don't know. I guess that's a question for another day. But I guess for the sake of the video, we'll do um, Expo router. But I love React navigation. I don't love it. It's helpful for sure. Okay, so Expo router is a file-based router for React Native and web applications. It allows you to manage navigation between screens in your app. Um, it brings the best file system, routing concepts from the web to a universal application. It's great for multi-platform. Okay, so there are some tabs, and there are also like a bunch of um, like templates out there, I guess. Because if I go here, I think two people shared their templates. One is here, expostack.dev. It looks like it's got all the goods. Um, but I don't, I mean, templates are great, especially if you kind of know what you're doing. I mean, they're great if you don't know what you're doing, but then it abstracts everything and then you don't know what's going on, right? So I think it's great, but, you know, templates have their place. There's that one. And then I think someone else shared, yeah, Marius also shared um, another template. But I didn't create this project with a template, so um, it doesn't have the router router, so I have to manually add it. So I figured good task to do. Okay, so this is the manual installation. We are using, I don't know what version we're using. React Native Expo is 49, right? So we got the new one. So we're just gonna copy these dependencies. Expo router, safe area context. This is a big one that I use. React Native screens. I don't know if we need this, and we're gonna like, or if this might just be. I guess we do need it. This project aims to expose native navigation container components into React Native. It's not designed to be used as a standalone library, but rather as a dependency of a full-featured navigation library. So yeah, I guess we just need it. So I mean, does Expo use like React navigation underneath the hood? I think I saw something about that. Expo linking, Expo constant, status bar, gesture handler. So yeah. Okay, so copy that. Go to here. Install all of the things. So that's gonna, I do love how Expo, when you install like a yarn package, it does the iOS level for you. I'm pretty sure. Um, and there is no iOS folder or Android folder, which is interesting. Um, yeah, it's just, you know, those are kind of crucial on the CLI side, and they can be confusing. Um, but it's pretty consistent flow, if you will. So once you do figure it out, it's not the worst. Okay, so we got to set up this entry point inside of package.json. Use the Expo router entry file in the package JSON up here. Okay, and I think that's it. I think that's all we care about. Oh no, we got one more. So we don't care about web for now. So babel.config.js. Babel, what is it? .config.js. I don't quite know what stage this is used. Um, React Native itself uses Babel preset by default when transforming your app's source code. If you wish to use a custom Babel configuration by writing a Babel config.js, your project's root directory, you must specify. Babel is the JavaScript compiler that converts modern JavaScript code into a version compatible with all browsers. So I guess, yeah, I guess it just, I don't know, changes it, formats it to like native code, I would say. Is that what it does? Um, I would imagine so, because I don't think there would be like a universal thing that's supported everywhere, unless that's JavaScript. But I don't know if JavaScript would be supported on Android or not. But yeah. Okay, so we're here. We want to go ahead and do this plugins. So let me do this. What is Babel plugin in React Native? React Native Babel plugin performs transformations to enable a plugin that enables the reuse of Babel's injected helper code to save code on CoSite. I have no idea. A lot of stuff. I mean, feel free to dig into that stuff, but I don't quite get it 100%. And that's been fine for that's been just fine for me. So Babel config is here. Add a new one. Do that, and then we have the app folder. I don't know if I added that, but what I'm going to do now is yarn iOS. Just get Expo running. Press the I button. That should get us going. And I'm pretty sure what happens is not quite, but you see we have nothing in app here. But if we press this, it goes, oh, touch. That's what that does. So the button says touch. That goes ahead and adds a file inside of here. Ah, I see. We got these little yogurt things. They're so great. Okay, so we have this. This is our first page. Let's go ahead and um, create our. So the folder structure here is going to be a work in progress for sure. Because we have app here, but then we also have like a source folder, and I think the stuff inside of app should only be like the files for um, like the screens that we're navigating to. File structure for Expo projects. When you create a new Expo project, a few files and folders are provided by default. This page lists out the essential files and folders that are necessary for you to understand. Best Expo folder structure. Source folder. So it looks like we're missing the app folder for this. I don't know. It's just regular. I wonder if we should do something. Okay, yeah, I don't get too complex here, but we're here. We're inside of app index. What I want to do is, I guess, first change this to be the home page. I think we'll create a header here and kind of go from there. So we have app index. What I want to do is go ahead and create a new file and do home.tsx. I'm going to do import React export const home export default home return view text home. Oh, there we go. So also didn't add text for some reason. Okay. So that's good there. So we have home. What we want to do here is, let's see how we got to navigate. Create pages with Expo router. When a file is created in the app directory, it automatically becomes a route in the app. For example, the following files will create the following routes. Sounds good. How do I navigate though? Navigating between pages. They do have link and yeah, like the link component. I think there's also like a route component or something. I don't operate with passing parameters when I navigate. We use Redux to do the things. So yeah, yeah. I don't want to introduce like another component. Having to figure things out. Um, and there are definitely some best practices with like, you know, different ways to go to a screen, which I won't get to. But we're going to use this way to navigate. There's a router package that Expo router, the library gives us, and we can just, send the user to that screen there. Um, so what I'm going to do here is this. So I'm going to get rid of this. Go to home screen. I'm going to change. First, I'm going to import this. Then what I'm going to do is do a const go to home. And I'm going to do router.push home. Let's see, this would be home. I think it's this. I'm a single quote guy. Very cool. Press on this, go to touchable opacity. On press is go to home. So there is our big button. Okay, go to home, and we can see that we're on the home page. That was pretty straightforward. So yeah, let's see something here. Sounds good. Okay, so let's go ahead and build the home screen. We're just going to work through a bunch of different posts. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. I'm gonna do a bunch actually. Post A, B, times times 3, post D, user D. This is my fourth post. E, user 3, fifth, 4. Oh, we got too many here. I'm not going to do all this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is display this list of posts. So we got the home screen. Was it like posts or something? Yeah. So we're going to use a scroll view for this. There's different types of components that are similar to scroll view that allow you to go up and down, like you swipe with your finger. I don't know that in this case we would actually use a scroll view, but I think we can keep it with the scroll view. I think that's fine. I think actually we would use a flat list and maybe some fancy version of a flat list or a fancy configuration for a flat list, but yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So if you remember, you can see that it's that we're not intruding on the safe area. That's because I don't know why that's the case. Maybe that's what Expo does by default. Because we have safe area view here, but excuse me, not anywhere else. So I guess it just uses it by default. Which may or may not cause us issues. Okay, let's go ahead and just get some coding done. So, like I said, we're going to use a scroll view. And then inside a scroll, we're going to use curly brackets. Right, so I want to use, oh, that's funny. I want to loop through posts, right? I'm going to go through each of these posts and display them. I wonder if I got to do, I do have to do some fake user data. Okay. User 2, Jackie, Simmons, JSim. Just your average senior div. I don't know. User 3, Arnold Palmer, A Palm. Amateur golfer, professional drinker, no thanks. Amateur golfer, sure, fine. Okay, so we got a couple users. What I want to do is loop through these. So post.map, and the curly brackets allow us to use JavaScript. Like if I were to just do this, it would yell at me because we're trying to, this is being treated as text. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go through, loop through these posts, and yeah, check it out. So I'm gonna have post. We do have post card from before. So if I go to post card, we're passing in a post. And then we are using that post, which has an ID, it has a user, it has some text, and it has a created date. We're using that post to retrieve the user, which again is that list. We have user 1, 2, and 3. And in our posts, we have user 1, user 2, and user 3. And then we're just displaying the photo, which is blank right now. We're displaying the first, last name, username, and then the text. Okay, so we want post there. So go to home screen, and we can see that we're scrolling, right? If I don't have this, I can do it without this. We can see that it's there, but I can't scroll. So I add the scroll view. So yeah. So let me do some styles. So do styles.container, const styles, style sheet. That should have imported. Container. We do flex 1. That's going to give us all of the things. Sounds good. So now we want to center these things. And I'm wondering if we want to center them with center the scroll view, or have the scroll view center everything. And I think that's what we should do. So styles dot scroll view. For scroll view, we're also going to do a flex 1, which might cause us issues in the future, to be honest. But what if we do align items center? And this is going to yell at us because scroll view, I don't know why, but scroll view does not like the align items property. So if you remember, we have justify content, we have align items, right? So if I change this to a view, go to home screen, align items, let me do this one. The center, yeah, okay, just to highlight, let me do this. Just a reminder, if you're not comfortable with just CSS and then React Native with CSS, and if you're not comfortable with stuff like justify content, align items, align self, flex, I would recommend that you look at Flexbox Froggy. When I first started dev, I did this thing like 10 plus times. And I would recommend the same to you. It's it's kind of corny, but it helps a ton. The idea is you have these frogs, and they're supposed to exist in. You got to move them to the color coded pad that their lily pad, and it just it is a great resource, great practice, and with React Native styling, it's all about positioning and just Lego blocks. Where do you put the Lego blocks, right? So yeah. So if you remember, align items by default centers things horizontally. Justify content by default aligns things horizontally, right? So if I uncomment this, it's going to move it to the center. If I uncomment this, it's going to move it down to the middle. So yeah. Okay. So we don't want it to be aligned vertically. We just want it to be here. So that's good. So there is our post, but we see that we don't have any scrolling because we took it out here. And we're going to get yelled at again here. I don't know why, but we're not allowed to do that. So what we need to do is do content. So it says it here, right? So reading error messages, something I should have did for the first attempt at Expo router, but getting into these error messages is definitely, a good skill to have. So with scroll view child layout, align items must be applied through the content container style prop. So it's a bit confusing, child layout. But what this is saying is that we cannot, for the scroll view style property, we cannot use align items. We can't use justify content either. If I take this out and get rid of this, we're going to get the same error, but just for justify content. Anytime we're doing these flex things, we can't do it. So what we need is content container style. These styles will be applied to the scroll view content container, which wraps all of the child views. Yeah, I'm not sure. Style.scroll view. I wonder if we can just get rid of this then. Probably. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Okay, yeah, like I said, we probably use a flat list for this, especially given that the post might be like super long. Like the book might be a ton of posts. So yeah. So that's that. Let's see. So let's say I want to go ahead and click on the post. I guess we'll do that. We'll do like a post home screen, like a post screen, in which we can see like activity, just like comments and stuff. So I'm just checking to see how Twitter does it. Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. So what we'll do is, so we'll change this up once we get into Redux, but I think that's fine. What we're gonna do is when I click on this, we're gonna go to that page. So home, file, we're gonna do post, profile.tsx. I'm not a huge fan of this here. Post const post equals post detail page. So it's just a page that shows the details of a post. Export default post detail page. And what I think we should do is create a path or routes. I will say, getting started, like once the router is installed, actually navigate, like enabling the navigation, it's not light years simpler than React navigation, but it is definitely pretty straightforward. So oops. Okay. So what I want is export enum routes. We're going to do home. We're going to do users. Right now we just have post. Sounds good. Okay, so then we'll do, what I'm going to do actually is just copy. That's okay. I'll just do it from scratch. View, import from React Native, text, also import from React Native and do post detail page. Actually, we're going to pass a post right off the start. Props. We're going to do post. Do props. Post is props. Post equals props, and then we'll do post dot text. So that'll be the start. Post detail page. Then what we want to do is, once we're on this post stuff, that's not what we want. We want home page. We want postcard. We are going to change this whole thing into a touchable opacity. So now I can essentially click on these. Nothing happens, but that's what we're going to change here. Okay, so let's see. I think what we should do is do const user equals use memo. And this might be unnecessary, but I think it's a good opportunity to highlight use memo. So it's the same code, right? Users.find. Users is a list. Users.find. We are finding the user for this post, right? Post.user is a property that equals user.id. That is so that when I hover over, we can see that that's the case. What I want to do is do this. User from memo, log from memo, console.log, user info. All right, we can see how many times, let's see, oh, this is the postcard actually. Okay, never mind. This point is mute here. Never mind. So yeah, that's not necessarily the best example for use memo. So we can we can just delay that. Okay, ignore that. So let's go. And when I click on this, we want to go to the post itself. So let's go to post detail page. Remember, we need the router here. Let's see, where was the router? So we're here. Router. Import router. Excuse me. Let's see. Router dot push. Routes dot post. Oh, I guess we do need it in this case. Okay, yeah. I wonder, maybe we should just get Redux going then, because this passes it as a parameter. And like I said, we don't necessarily do that. I don't like doing that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think that's what we got to do. We got to install Redux, and then we'll get that going right away, I guess. So what I did though is when I press on this, we take the user to the post detail page, which is nothing, nothing fancy. Post here. It's just yelling at us because post.text equals it's undefined, right? We're trying to access a property of something that doesn't exist. We're not providing this. We're not providing it to this. Oh yeah, we're not even doing this right. Sorry, y'all. So this isn't quite how it would work. So I thought that was a component for a second. So I'm going to do this post detail page. And then if I click on this, it takes you to the detail page. Okay, so let's go ahead. We have to figure out Redux. Adding Redux to Expo. So I guess we just add it, right? I think we'll just go from there. So yarn add Redux. Let's check this out. Why Redux toolkit? It I think it's what Redux toolkit. Does this automatically install the Redux toolkit? I doubt it. Where is the toolkit? Oh, here it is. I didn't install it first. Okay. So I'm looking for, there's got to be like um, a root file. So we don't need to worry about any of that. Quick start. I just want to see if it has any information. Okay, here's what we want. So we got to create like a root file for Redux. So I always call it store index.ts. And then we got this here. Let me go ahead and do yarn iOS. Reducer. Then what we got to do is, let's see, where would we put this? So we have app here. I guess this is where, like this index, this is where we would, I think this is where we would do like our loading stuff. Like when the app, opens up, we got to do some loading, right? So I think this is where we would do it. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna change this to something. So this is gonna say loading. We are going to use provider, right? So we are creating a Redux store. We need stuff needs access to that Redux store. To provide access to Redux, what you have to do is wrap your code inside of this provider tag, right? So everything inside of here has access to Redux. Redux is like our local storage inside of the app so that we can store and access data. A lot of people don't like Redux. I love Redux. A lot of people, even if they do like Redux or if they don't and they have to use it, they err on the caution of like less Redux. But in my opinion, that opens up the Pandora's box to prop drilling and callbacks and all that stuff. And I think it's way harder to onboard someone like a new dev, not even just a new dev, but just someone to a tool or a code base. If they have to worry about prop drilling and callbacks. So yeah. So yeah, what we're gonna do is import provider inside of here. Redux, we're going to do provider. Yeah, I don't know how Redux with Expo. I don't know. Yeah, like how it's going to be structured. You should add provider to your root level layout file, not the entry file. See, I don't know React Redux. Guess I didn't add that. Yarn add React Redux. So we're gonna need store. Store. So that would be inside of here, store. Okay. I just don't know that like everything's gonna be wrapped in this, you know? Expo router Redux template. Is there a repo for this? Let's see. So we have nothing in here. App, layout, slot. This is too fancy. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Where is configure store? Where is store used? So this is app/layout. Oh, I missed it. Oh, there's two. Okay. Root layout is a stack. So it looks like we have stack, but how does it know what to do? Gesture handler, root view. Okay, so I think that's all we got to do is use this stack. I don't quite know. So we'll take stack. Let's see here. Screen options, header shown, no. Provider. On layout, hide the splash screen. Then we go to root layout and then, but where is stack? I don't get stack. So yarn, iOS. So stack, we're here. I don't think it's refreshed. Let's see. Store does not have a valid reducer. Make sure the argument passed to combine reducers is an object whose values are reducers. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do that, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and create a features folder. And inside of this features folder, we're going to do a current post.ts. We are going to now check out the Redux real quick. we're going to counter this this slice. So we're going to have X. Let me do some imports first. Import create slice. Export const current post equals create slice. We're going to give it a name of current post, an initial state of nothing for right now, and then we have reducers. Okay. Then what we're going to do in this case is to type current post initial state. Give it a type of post. Oh, yeah, we don't want this. So sorry, current post initial state equals post. Const initial state is going to be text instead of that. It's going to be created date. Date.now. This is just going to be a user. Set current post suite, and then we typically want. Okay, so what's happening here? Let me minimize. Okay, what is happening? We're just going to return. Okay, so we created a slice here. Redux operates on like a slice model. Imagine just a database, and there are many slices. There are slices for your posts. There's slices for your users. There's slices for the messages. At least this is how I operate. We operate at THT. So there's a slice for the message threads, the conversations. There's a slice for, all of these different things, and they point to different types of data, whatever you specify. We have two types of slices. We have three types of slices. One is the dump, right? So when I load the app and I retrieve, a bunch of information, we are throwing them into various dumps. So all the users that we grab are throwing them into the user dump. All the posts that we grab, we're throwing them into the post dump. All of the messages, same there. All the comments, and we're throwing them into the comment dump and the likes dump and all that stuff. So that's the dump. That's one. The second one is what you're looking at here, which is the currentXSlice. How we use the currentXSlice is when I go to a detail page or like a profile, right? A detail page is just, post detail page is just all about the post, right? You look at it, it's like the profile, right? If I were to, let me pull OBS up. So I'm here, right? I'm on the main feed for Twitter. If I click on this, it takes me to the post detail page. And if I click on this, it takes me to the user detail page. Shout out Bento. So that's how, and we have the current post slice, and then we also have the current user slice. And this currentXSlice allows us to remove the need to pass properties or parameters as we're navigating. So yeah, again, why I do that is to remove prop drilling, remove callbacks, remove parameters. Those things typically lack documentation. So it leaves people wondering, like, why are we passing this property? Why is this value true? When is this value false? If it's a number, what are the different numbers that go into this? And then if you want to get into TypeScript, you then have to get fancy with TypeScript at varying levels to kind of catch yourself and set boundaries for your dev team. So the currentXSlice in this case is the current post slice. And when I click on a post, right, remember that list of posts? When I click on it, we're going to navigate. We're going to set that post. We're going to add those values to this slice for that post, and then navigate to the screen. And then from within the screen, that post detail page, we're going to have access to Redux. We're going to grab the current post, and then we have the information. So yeah. Okay, so we have this slice. Now what we need to do is, okay, so that's the general idea of the slice here. What we're doing is we have to give the slice a type, like what data does this slice care about? And in this case, it just cares about a single post, right? So we're setting some initial state for that. and using it down here. So we're calling this slice current post. We're calling the create slice function. We're further calling this the post. Like this is this is what we're going to use to import elsewhere from other files, mainly our store file. This is what and I'm mostly sure this is how it goes. This is what Redux is looking for, right? Underneath the hood, Redux is going to say, okay, it's a current post slice. Whereas if we did this to Redux, it's still a current post slice. But to our imports, it's now this stuff. So yeah, you have to set some initial state, and then you have your reducers, which are like they're typically they previously were called actions on like the old way of doing Redux. Before this whole slice model, which I think is like 2 years old or 3 years old, whatever. And they're just functions to be performed on your slice, right? In this case, like I said, when we press on that post here, when we get that going, you press on the post and we want to take the user to that post detail page. We're going to call current post slice dot set current post, provided that object of data, and then it's gonna update the entirety of Redux. So yeah. So now we need to export these actions. So Redux documentation tells you to do it like this. I don't prefer to do it because we do have like a heavy reliance on Redux. Like we use it a ton. We do call these actions way more, I think, than the average team. So what I would prefer to do is do current post actions. So then we can do current post action. We can just import one import and then do current post actions dot set current post. We'll have a reset and all of the things. And I think there's one more thing to do, which is, I guess, yeah, we have, okay, the default. Let's see, 1 second, text mail. Text mail. And we're going to do export default current post dot reducer. So we're going to export this. And then what that allows us to do is do this. So current post, import current post features dot post, and there we go. So now we shouldn't get yelled at. Let's go ahead, refresh. Okay, we're not getting yelled at. So let's keep going and figure out how we go to the next screen. So stack, let's see, quick. So this is definitely not straightforward. App navigator when fonts are loaded. Gestler handler root view. On layout, we're going to hide the splash screen. But then what? How does... I would imagine we would then go to root layout. Then we have stack. How does this root here? So let's see, Expo router stack. By default, routes fill the entire screen. Moving between them is a full page transition with no animation. In native apps, use expect shared elements like headers. Create a layout routes. Slot will render the current child route. Think of this as children. Don't want that. User interface, splash screens, animation, next steps. I don't want this. Core concepts. All right, let's look for another example. So let me see how this goes. So this is saying inside of here, we'll have to figure out the lint stuff. But let's say I go here and then I go to home. Is that? Do I need to do the splash screen thing? Splash screen, Expo splash screen. I don't necessarily want to do that. Okay, so that, I mean, that's not Redux with Expo router. See, I'm not quite sure how to do this. I feel like this is our best bet. Redirect. Okay, so we're in app. We have layout here. This is returning slot. Expo router requires rendering a slot or layout component during the initial render. In this case, we have components that can potentially delay the rendering of the slot. Can potentially delay the rendering of the slot. To ensure the state and custom fonts are fully loaded before rendering the app, we render a slot here. The actual rendering of the app is deferred to a layout component one level down in the component hierarchy. Okay, so we got app. We have layout here. We have the store. Inside of here, we have the root layout. I mean, so let's see how this goes. On layout. Splash screen dot hide, no. Hide async. And then we have gesture handler root. Let's try this, I guess. Gesture handler root view. Import this. Don't want the styles. Stack. I mean, this doesn't have like a file in it. I don't get how this is quite working. It doesn't have like a name property or something. You know? Go to home, no. Yeah, because we're not specifying. I'll be honest, I'm very confused in this moment on how we're supposed to do this. I don't want to move forward. Let's see. I definitely should have did this prior. but that's okay. So we got root here. That takes us here. This we don't have a name here. Yeah. Layout. On press, header left, on press, go back. There's got to be a better yeah, where, let's see if they give the repo. Gotta give the repo. This is a playlist? Yeah. Somebody's got to ask for the repository. No. Just want to see how they set up like the root file. React Native Expo. Provider, configure store, initial. So we got all the things here. Yeah, that's not what we want. I'm missing something. I have to be. Slot. We got this one. Layouts. Stack. No. Expo, router, Redux. Traditional React Native project structure with a single root component that often find the pattern is often used to inject global providers such as blank and to delay rendering until assets. In Expo router, you can use the root layout app/layout to add providers, which can be accessed by any route in the screen. App layout. Oops. Layout.js. Try to reduce the scope of your providers to only the routes that need them. Cause fewer renders. Okay, so then what would go in here? Export default. Const layout. Stack navigation. Use the screen options prop to configure the header bar. Is that it? Waste all that damn time. I didn't even see this advanced section down here. I guess because I was on the Did I miss it? Oh, yeah, I was in the core. It's just for the router. Oh, I see. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so I think that's it. So I'll have to get rid of the header. We don't want the header here. I'd rather have a custom header. Okay, so I guess that's it. That's all we got to do. And is that because inside of here we have go to home? Like, what if I didn't? It's nothing. Okay, so on layout, what if we do on layout? What does that do? Nothing. Okay. Okay. So I'm confused on like why we have this and that. Like why we have app index and then we have like what is this stack? How does this stack behave with the other stack? Not quite sure, yeah, what's going on with that. I'll have to do some check-in and in the next video kind of figure out what's going on. Yeah. Because I mean this was working without I don't get. Is there like an on finish thing or something? No. Just show him the root view. Can I do this? It doesn't work just fine. So not having this removes the header, but it still allows us to do the things. So this is yelling at us because on the home screen, we're going to home. We don't have a key here. Host.id. Then we'll stop getting yelled at here. But okay, so then we're here. Let's try and see. Let's try and see what we got to do here. So we're missing a couple things with Redux, such as like the dispatch function here. So we need to copy these over. I'll talk about them in a second. Store const store equals export default. So so the root state, we'll use this. I don't know that we'll actually ever use this. We'll have, okay, so we'll use root state to access Redux, and we'll use appDispatch to write to Redux. So let's see, how do we do this elsewhere? Let me pull this up here. One second. index. Okay. So what we're going to do in here as well is export some things. We're going to do export const useAppDispatch equals a function which gives us useDispatch. We're going to need some helpers here, or we need to import some stuff here. useDispatch, and we're going to provide it appDispatch. Used throughout the app to write to Redux. Then we're going to have another one which is export called useAppSelector. It's going to be that used throughout the app to read from Redux. So that's how those things are going to work. So inside of the home page, not the home page, the postcard page, we are going to up here do const dispatch equals useAppDispatch. Dispatch current post actions dot set current post to be post. So what it's saying is I want the ability to. Oh, okay, yeah, this is where we're in trouble. Okay. Okay, I wonder if we do it in here instead. Probably. That would be cool. That would be very cool, actually. And we'll switch how we do this. I don't think we want to do the root thing, but let's get rid of all of these. Property provider does not exist. No. Stored, of course, sorry. I wish it would give me the error messages by default, you know. Go to home. So we'll have to figure out the lint stuff. Okay, what else are we missing? We're not using stack. Attempted to navigate before mounting the root layout component. Ensure the root layout component is rendering a slot or other navigator on the first render. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. Look for the most thumbs up at the bottom. Okay, so app index, redirect to home. I guess that's what we want inside of the app index. Is it that one? Attempting to navigate. Okay, so what that means is this is inside of what file? This is inside the layout file. Loaded. I'm not using any fonts. How do I... Is navigation ready? Root navigation. Okay, let me check the docs. I imagine that's what's going to give me the answer. This is the router stuff? Yeah. Troubleshoot. No, I don't want EAS. Okay. Local app development, linking. Don't want that. Root layout. Okay, so then we have stack. Navigating without navigation. Okay. App layout slot. Let's see. So that is that. Then we're redirecting to the home. So that, oh, okay. So what's, okay, so we're here, we have a slot. Okay. So slot, looks like this, okay, looks like the flow of things is app slash underscore layout JS. This is where we specify the provider, excuse me. Inside of the provider, we specify a slot. And this is just like a default holder to just like to default like UI to render while Expo does the things that it needs to do to start up. Once that's done, it will automatically look to index.js, or in our case, TSX. Once it gets here, it's up to us. So this would be like our loading page. where we would determine if the user was previously logged in. We would load fonts, I guess, if we have to load fonts. Maybe we do the fonts in, probably do the fonts in here. And then we would navigate the user to the place that they want to go. So routes.home. And then, yeah, we definitely got to figure out the lit here. So we get rid of all of this. Redirect takes us to home. We're here, and then we got the list of posts. Okay, so now what we need to do is do safe area view. I'll just do this one. Safe area view, safe area view, safe area view, and then that brings us down. Okay, so then inside a postcard, we press on it. That takes us here. I wonder if inside of not index here, index, as soon as the component is mounted, can we do this here? I think so, and then that means we can go back to view here. No, not quite. Okay, so what does that mean? How do we do safe area view for all of the things? You know, is it here? I doubt. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I didn't think so. So I guess we got to provide it everywhere. I mean, that's not ideal. That is not ideal. Because this doesn't do anything. I would think that this would do all of it, but this is just the first screen that we get to, so I guess that makes sense that it doesn't do anything. But does this do anything? No. Okay, we'll just kind of keep going, yeah. So I can get rid of this post detail page. We're here. That means we need a safe area view here. Yeah, we would have to add it to every page. So we'll have to, there's got to be some way to just do like a root level that. But yeah, now let's say we want access to that currentXSlice, right? So when we press postcard, we're setting, right? The alternative is to do something, I don't know, post like this, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but do like a set params or something like that. But like I said, we're just going to use the currentXSlice model. We're going to set the current post, and then inside of here, the post detail page, what we're going to do is we're going to have access to that currentXSlice. So we're going to do current post equals useAppSelector. It has a state, so the state is just Redux. We're going to do state.currentPost. And then what we can do here is underneath this, we can do current post dot text is going to be the information about that post. Now let's say I go back, I can't scroll back, so let's also add just a temporary touchable opacity, text, go back, we're going to add a const go back. Import router from Expo router. Excuse me. Dot back. If I go back, that's the first post. This is my second post. This is my fifth post. So that's how the current XSlice works. Is every time we go ahead and every time we select on something, we are adding the post card. So let's also do the same for the user, for the current user slice, and we can easily figure that out. So what we want to do is, so here's what we're going to do. When we click on this, we're going to display some information here, and then we'll be able to do this in 30 minutes, but we'll be able to display some information here about the post, and some of that information is obviously the user. What we're going to do is then click on the user and then take them to the user profile. User detail page is probably what we'll call it to be consistent. And that's going to use the current user slice. So yeah, current user.ts. I'm just going to copy this over, copy all this stuff, go over the current user. I'm going to highlight this, Control F, replace it with user. And then here we'll need user. And we can see that current user initial state is equal to user. Initial state, and I have it here. We could just do user, but sometimes we'll do like additional properties, but not always. So this is obviously different now. So we do have ID, but we have some other things. Add missing properties. Okay, current user. All the things are the same. Now we have to add this to our Redux store. So we have current user. I'll bring this up here, and then we have current user. Current user. So that's good. Okay, so let's see. Redux now reset because we made changes here. So I'll click on this. So now we're on the post detail page. We're on the post detail page. Let's go ahead. We have the go back button. Let's do this at the top. We have post detail page, which we don't want. We're going to do touchable opacity. We're going to do text user A. So we got user A, we got the text itself. Let's go ahead and find the user. So we got postcard, and we'll add, we'll update this with a Redux dump structure in the future, but we'll do that now. So we have current post, we have current user info. User A, we're going to do on press const go to user detail page equals that. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to do dispatch. So we're going to do up here const dispatch equals useAppDispatch. We have dispatch current, not current post, current user actions dot set current user is the user info. That's going to take us to we got to create another screen for the user.tsx. which is going to be the user detail page, sorry. So we're going to do const user detail page equals this, boom, 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 return view text user detail page, export default user detail page. We have that. So what that means is here on the post detail page, we can navigate to router dot push routes dot user equals user. So when I click on user, that's going to take me here. So that means that inside of here, we also need safe area view, which we have here. Then we want to access the user selected current user equals useAppSelector state.current user detail page user current user dot first name current user dot last name current user dot username. There we go. So now let's also do a go back button for this. That's weird because if I do scroll view, I mean, in some cases it wasn't. Maybe it was just maybe it was a job. Oh, that's what it was. Layout. No. Layout has JavaScript. Yeah, I guess layout is a JavaScript, so that's why it wasn't giving me the TypeScript errors. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we're here. We don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need this anymore. We're here, so I'm gonna do import router from Expo router. This is going to be text. Up here, we're going to go actually to the post screen and just copy this go back function or this touchable opacity. That's funny. Yeah, it definitely was because of that. Update. So that, and then if I go back, we're here, we're on that. But then if I click on this, user A takes me to that. Right, so it updates based on the different flow. So yeah, I'll probably let's see, should I keep going? No, I'll probably just end it there. And then on the next video, we will do way more coding. So we got the hard parts out the way. We got the adding of the router. We got also the adding of Redux using with the router. Was a bit confusing. I was just trying to Google stuff, and yeah, we eventually got to it from some GitHub links. So yeah, appreciate you watching. I will be back next week with part 3. So thanks.